Korean bulgogi or bulgogi is not what you think it is. At least it wasn't for me when I first came here 11 years ago, and I was just so confused. I actually still am quite mystified. I'm still trying to unlock some of the secrets. There's obviously a lot of different kinds of bulgogi out there, but all of the types I've seen over here in Korea have been different than what I saw in America. So growing up, my mom would make me some bulgogi every now and then. She got it out of like a Korean American cookbook. And it was probably about what you'd expect. It was tasty, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it was authentic. If you Google bulgogi, you can probably get a sense of what I'm talking about here. It was marinated, thinly sliced strips of beef, and it was kind of charbroiled. And I could be completely wrong here, but I imagine a lot of Korean restaurants around the world might sell bulgogi like this, or, might be the image you have in your head. At least it's the image that Google has. If you go to Naver, which is Korea's version of Google, you'll see more images like this. And if you look closely at some of these images, you'll see that it could be very soupy. You also might be able to see that the pieces of meat aren't really strips. It's more like shaved meat, and it's like shavings. Also, bulgogi over here isn't always beef. It can oftentimes be pork. Anyway, when I first came to Seoul, I was like, what the crap? Anyway, I ordered myself some bulgogi, and I'm going to show it to you. It's over there in a pan, just getting warm. And I also got some rice over here. Let me go fetch that and show you what I'm working with. Alrighty, here we have our bulgogi, and you might not be able to get the best view of it right now. It's soupy. It's almost like a stew, and as you can see, very thinly shaved, I should say, pieces of beef in here. Let me give you a closer view. So we got a lot of meat going on here, which, I mean, for one, it's smelling amazing in here. Doesn't appear to be kind of broiled or charred at all, or even cooked over a fire. I don't know how exactly this was cooked. You can also see a lot of vegetables like onions, some mushrooms, and maybe green onions, and like I said, a lot of soup or broth. I've only had this style of bulgogi twice in my life, actually. I'll tell you about a story here in a minute, but I paid probably about 19 bucks for everything you see here. Pretty good deal. Let's try it out. Going in. That is delicious. That's fantastic. It's incredible. Mighty fine. Much different than what I'm used to though. Flavor, texture, everything is completely different. Let me try it with some of this rice. I'm not even actually sure how I'm supposed to eat this. That's fire. That's so good. I imagine if I mixed in the rice, it would kind of soak into this broth and then become some just delicious mixture. Don't think you're supposed to eat it like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just completely off. I'm sure there's plenty of places in Koreatowns that have real authentic kind of Seoul style bulgogi like this. But yeah, I mean, not for me when I was growing up. That's for damn sure. So the flavor is, I would say it's a lot more subtle than the one that I grew up eating. The one that I had was kind of blasted with a lot of sesame oil and maybe some brown sugar, soy sauce. And I think by charring it, it really added to it added to the flavor. It was a much stronger and delicious flavor. This is delicious, but in a, like I said, subtle way. It's more of a, maybe umami, dare I say. Different flavor though, for sure. There are some that are not in this kind of like soupy form. They're just over a grill. Actually, my favorite place is a chain that doesn't do it in this way, but it's still kind of a unique style. But I would say that one thing that all bulgogi places in Korea have in common, at least all the ones I've ever seen, it's this almost like shredded or shaved meat. And it's never just slices. So it's a little bit different. So yeah, let me tell you a story. The first time I ever came to Seoul, back in 2012, first time I ever stepped foot in Korea after I was here when I was like 5 months old. I was 22. I came back. I was clueless. I was like kind of stupid. Didn't care to, well, I won't say I was stupid. I didn't care to learn any bit of Korean or any bit of the culture. I just kind of went in blind. So maybe not stupid, but very unprepared. And literally the only food I knew about was kimchi and bulgogi. And I was staying at this like a goshiwon, like a closet room, kind of in a pretty populated area. Didn't know anybody, didn't know anything. There's a 7-Eleven like 30 seconds away. And I don't know how I figured this out, but the guy who, maybe he managed it or I don't know, maybe he just worked there. I don't remember, it was a while ago. Name was James, Korean, older guy, probably 55, I would guess. Shout out James, man. If you're out there, hit me up, man. He was a good guy. He spoke probably the best English I've ever heard from like an older Korean person. I would go there just because I was so bored. I'd never traveled by myself, and I would go down there for like an hour a day, 30 minutes a day, and just talk to this guy. While he was like helping customers, checking people out. It would have been a bizarre thing to see nowadays. If I saw that situation happening, right now I'd be like, what's going on here? Because you don't see many older Korean convenience store clerks who are just having a conversation in English with someone looking like me. But anyway, dude was like my closest ally for like the first week I was here. And I said, we just shoot the breeze and just, you know, talk about this and that. And one day he was like, all right, I'm gonna, you know, I'll take you out for lunch. I was like, all right, cool. And he's like, is there anything that you want to eat while you're here? Because at the time I was only here for like 2 weeks. And I was like, you know what? I still haven't had bulgogi yet. This is like the only Korean food I know. Let's go eat some bulgogi. So I was like, yeah, I got a spot. Took like a 10-minute walk and we came to this place and this is basically what they were serving. This soupy, thinly sliced meat that tasted very different from the stuff I knew and looked very different as well. And I was just like, what the frick is going on here? Are you dumb, man? I said bulgogi. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, I ate it. I mean, I don't think I enjoyed it as much at the time because I was just like, it wasn't what I was expecting. I wanted those slices of charbroiled beef, which there is a lot of stuff like that over here. Just, you wouldn't really call it bulgogi. But anyway, yeah, that's the story. Kind of a weird situation now that I look back at it. And ever since that, I've only been to this style bulgogi place one other time. And the only other bulgogi restaurant I've ever been to besides those two experiences is a big chain that does it, that I was mentioned earlier. And it's not soupy, but it's not traditional either. It's kind of spicy. It's really good. I might actually have to do a video on that another day. But yeah, like if you ever find yourself in Seoul and you go to Google Maps and you're looking for a bulgogi restaurant and you see places that are serving up something like this, I mean, this is how it is. Don't get confused. I'm still a little bit confused, but hopefully maybe this can clear up some confusion for a couple of people out there. If you're looking for something that is kind of like the bulgogi that Google Images will show you, maybe look for like LA kalbi around here. Maybe. I don't really know. There is also another type of bulgogi that I know of. I think it's called onyang bulgogi, which is not soupy either, but it's kind of like almost a really flat meat patty. Imagine taking all this shaved meat and then kind of like pressing it into a super thin, flat pancake of sorts. And then grilling that. I think a lot of the broth came out of the meat and the vegetables as well. So it's not really a broth. I think it is. It can be. It doesn't have to be one of those type of dealios. Some good stuff, man. I feel like this is a lot less salty than maybe bulgogi you would find, or at least the stuff that I had growing up. It's not really sweet or anything. I'd say the predominant flavor is umami. I definitely recommend you to try it if you're ever in Korea. Just kind of know what you're in for a little bit, so you're not let down like I was the first time I had it at a restaurant here. Anyway, that's about it for now. Thanks for watching. Skating out of here. See you in the next video. Peace.